Is that your bottle of water?
This? Mm-hmm. Fiji, yeah. I only drink Fiji. I only drink bottled water. You know, some people would say I have like Ponzi tastes, that I'm, you know, kind of like uppity.
Actually,
but
this is a really funny story.
I just like to.
One time, we were talking about just water in general and filtered, like how it goes through the faucet and stuff, and we were kind of asking like the question that probably everyone asks is like,
How good is the quality?
Is it? Yeah, and we were talking about it, reading on it. And we're like, oh gosh, it's horrible. And then Sean's like, yeah, that's why I only drink bottled water.
Right.
And Brittany and I just lost ourselves because this is tap water in a bottle. I
honestly
believe that you're drinking
when
water.
I made this statement, like intellectually, if you'd say, Sean, do you fill that up with faucet water? I'd go, why, yes, I do.
Of course. Mm-hmm.
But in that moment, I was like, that's bottled water.
That was the best
and I
part.
bought it 100%.
That was the best part about it, was that when you said it, your face fell as soon as you said it, because you realized it in the same moment that you said it, that you were wrong.
Yeah.
And so you're like, that's why I only drink bottled water. You're embarrassed.
Oh, reality. Are you ready to rock?
I think we are.
It feels like we've been gone for a long time.
It's not true, because we haven't been.
I know, but it feels like it. You know what it is? It's not that it's been a long time. It's been a long time since I've been in the seat.
Oh.
We're switching back, right?
That's right.
So, man, it looks like it's really focused on me. You sure you're in this frame?
Mm-hmm.
Because it looks like it's the O'Shea frame all the day.
Because it is.
Okay. So, a couple quick things. The really big news.
Yeah.
That a lot of people. I go to tell her the big news and she's gone.
Oh no, I'm here.
The really big news.
Yes, I'm back.
Which escaped you, is that the beard is gone.
Oh.
That's the big news.
It didn't escape me. I walked in and there was a lot of stuff going on and I was about to say it and then like some stuff came up.
Life got you.
Life got me.
Life got you.
Yeah.
So, pulled a sneak attack, trimmed down, and boy, like it gets to that point where with the beard where you're like, I don't even want to mess with it. You know what I mean? It's like your backyard that's out of control.
All right, like I just
You know
can't.
what I mean? Like I don't want to mow the lawn, I don't want to trim the weeds, and so you're like, let's just pull the blinds. So I think that's where I was at. I was at that point where like this is going to be a heavy commitment of a lot of shaving, and so I just kind of hid from it like a coward. And then finally I had a window of time where there were no clients, and so I went in and I was like, I'm doing this. I'm taking you out. It was hard work. I could have used like some trimmers or weed whackers or something like to get in there. Anyways, I'm fresh and clean. I'm feeling better. I'm feeling more. Feeling sexier, which is a good thing.
That's
right?
really a good thing.
Right? Sexy, but in an appropriate fashion.
Yeah.
Not an inappropriate sexy, but
like
just a
sexy with limits.
a mature sexy.
Mature sexy.
Excellent. So that's one thing. Another thing is we've got the DVD coming up.
Oh yeah.
Right. So we're in secondary. We're in secondary edits of the DVD. So I'll let Laura Scream also go for me. There's a lot of work still to be done. I keep getting like personal messages like, when's the DVD going? And I'm like, it's coming. So working on the DVD, should be out soon. But like I've said before, our goal is for it to be really awesome, not to get it out quick.
Yeah.
I'd love that both to come together, but sometimes it takes time to get it just right. Other than that, I saw the first draft of the new book. That is exciting news, right? So Laura Morgan's been hard at work extracting and collating and putting information together for the book that is going to end all books. It's going to be exciting, right?
It's very exciting.
It's
just a lot of work.
It's a lot of work, but if this comes together right, this is going to be a book I think for both of us, what we're shooting for is that it's a book that if you adopt a dog from a shelter, it's the book they say, go get this book. Exactly. And it's a book that's not necessarily a training book. It's not about like, here's where we put the collar and all that stuff. It's a book about understanding the psychology of the dog and the human, and why things break down and why problems develop and why the two species end up like this and all that stuff. So that's the real goal, is to provide a resource that's really kind of like the go-to, which I know is aspiring to a lot, but hey, we aspire to a lot.
Yeah, just something like that any shelter could give, a new dog owner, or even like there's always, we'll have good clients that are like, we just want more, we want a book that we can read or something. And besides just saying like, go to the Facebook page, go to the blog, go to these trainers, we're really trying to compile everything that Sean's, put together. The
essential best stuff. Yeah. Like really like a map.
Yeah.
Like if this book existed when I got junior in Oakley and I was like messing everything up, and I'd seen this guy and I felt like I believed that guy enough, that book might have like completely changed our world.
Totally.
Especially just spoken in very clear, plain English about like, oh, so that's why that doesn't work. Exactly. This stuff that I think I'm doing right for my dog, oh, that's why it's messing everything up. Yeah. So that's the hope with that. A quick little shout out for Coyote and the Pig. Oh. Because Coyote and the Pig, which for those of you who don't know, Laura Morgan, I would follow her on Facebook or Instagram, depending on which platform you dig, or both if you want a little bit of mix and match.
Instagram has extra stuff on it that sometimes the Facebook page doesn't have.
Oh, I see. Draw them into the gram.
A little bit, like a little... just to make the Instagram look cooler, it's got little graphic cards, with like.
We know what you're up to. Oh. We know what you're up to. Draw them in. So, Coyote and the Pig is a children's story, but strangely enough, it tends to appeal to a lot of adults. It's a really, really awesome story. You've been writing it for. I mean, when did you start?
I started in 2011, so 4 years ago. Actually, this month is when I started Coyote. Next month, September, is when I started Coyote and the Pig.
Wow. Yep. So it's been kind of percolating for a long time, and she's really gotten into the space where she's been basically telling the stories in little bits and pieces on Facebook every day, and I look forward to it. And oftentimes, like I have to confess, it's like. Tearfully reading it, and it's a really awesome story. I mean, it's based on all of the dogs in your life, but the personalities of them actually being animals rather than being physically dogs. But the trials, tribulations, and adventures of the Coyote and the Pig and all their friends, which might sound like just like animal stories. But it's way deeper than that, and it's really about like the human experience, and it's pretty special story.
It's life. It's life. It's all life parallel stuff.
And parables and just so it's a beautiful story, and I can't wait for it to come out. And I'm really proud of you. I'm really excited. So, but I'm really excited for you. So that's just really cool news. And then third, believe it or not, we've got a question from Tim Ferriss, author of the famous Tim Ferriss. He reached out, and author of The 4-Hour Workweek, The 4-Hour Chef, The 4-Hour Body, and now The 4-Hour Dog Trainer. He just contacted us and wanted to know if we would.
Let's be real. He actually just put the question on his Facebook page, and so
it wasn't directed to me.
No.
Oh.
And so we're gonna answer it probably as question 10, and we're gonna link it on the Facebook page and tell him what time.
I'm brokenhearted. No, I thought Tim reached out and was like, I need Sean O'Shea and Laura Morgan on the case. Yeah. No? Okay. So, but it is a question from Tim Ferriss, and there's a chance he might read it.
There's definitely a chance that he'll watch it.
Right? If he's a smart guy, which I know he is, he'll check it out. And he's a Scandi, right? So you guys got like a little connection. Yeah. I think he's Danish. Yeah.
Me and Tim?
Even though Ferris isn't really, I don't think, a Danish name. But he looks like he could be in any Scandi lineup for, dancing naked and being drunken or something like that. Not that you guys do that, but...
Mature sex.
I have.
Mature sex.
I have seen a few of things when I lived in Scandinavia. Anyways, okay. All right. So that is a lot of preamble, and we're going to jump into the show. Hey, everybody. This is Sean from The Good Dog, and this is the lovely Laura Morgan, and all this good stuff is The Good Dog's Q&A Saturday episode number. Which one do I do? 43 in the house. So pretty cool stuff that we're at 43. We're almost at a year.
Yep.
Can you believe it? Almost a year in the
Crazy.
trenches with this baby. So pretty exciting. Should we jump into the show and get rocking and rolling? Is this going to be... I can't escape it.
Okay.
Enough of our shenanigans. And remember whatchamacallit Holly said last time. Enough, get to it, bad audio, zip
right.
your mouths.
Oh yeah, we had a really sweet lady on here who wants better quality free stuff. She said, didn't like it. What did she write?
It was funny. It was very brief. She said, get to it,
Didn't
bad
like it,
bad audio,
too
not
long.
worth the time. And then her last name was time, and then she was gone.
Yeah, she was like, base. Did you delete her?
I did. You don't bring that nasty stuff
No.
in my house. Not in my house.
She can always go to YouTube, but...
Yeah. But I mean, you can also fast forward. If it's like, hey, that part where they yak on and on and on, I don't enjoy, great. There's a lot of things on YouTube I don't dig, and I go...
On the contrary, I had an email from Donna Crumb, who's one of our peeps.
Who actually likes us.
Who sent us the garden bricks.
Right.
Cram, I'm sorry. She said, can't get enough. I vote for more, with a face like this. I love it all. You make me LOL even on a gray day. Thanks so much. So I vote for Donna.
Different strokes, baby. Different strokes. Absolutely.
All right. Question number 1. This is from Heather Horton. Sees a who.
Hey, Heather.
What?
Who's on first base? Heather. Who?
Hi, Sean and Laura. I'm seeking some advice. I have 2 dogs. Each of them have different issues I'd like to work on. At the present time, I'm not using e-collar yet, but I do plan on getting there. My 2-year-old Basset Hound Corgi has been a real challenge to even get the basics going. Super distracted and independent, and my 5-year-old Pitty listens well, and prior to being attacked a couple times, was super social and friendly. Now is reactive to around big male dogs. He's never bit back, but on leash he starts lunging and making high squealing sounds when a dog gets
I
close.
hate those squealing sounds.
I have no safe dogs to try to re-socialize him with. Following your page and videos, I've learned that e-collars make all the difference in training, but I'm not sure the best way to go about training 2 dogs, and in addition, 2 dogs with 2 different needs. Help.
Help indeed. Heather, how are you? Okay, so e-collars definitely, like, obviously it's the tool that we go to. I think it's the best tool going for training. Obviously, it's also a little more complex than some of the other tools. So it depends where you're at investment-wise financially. It seems like every time we shoot a show, I'm like, get up. Financially, and then also learning about the tool if that's something you want to get into. You could also use prong and leash, but you'll probably come up against some limitations with prong and leash. Well, you will for sure. So like off-leash recall and probably the reactivity with your Pitty. So let me jump into a couple things. So my first response is definitely go to e-collar if you can. Prong collar would be your secondary choice. As for how to train the dogs, train them independently or individually first, right? So the worst thing you can do is try and get 2 dogs. Like, I know they live in the same house, but when we, just to give you like a little glimpse, when we're working on board and trained dogs, they all come in one at a time, and especially initially, there's no other dogs around, no other handlers around, and we just work them in a nice, quiet, sterile kind of environment so they can really focus and concentrate, and then work them through that. Get them to a good, solid place before you start to bring a second dog in. So, Belle, take a hike. I think there was like food crumbs or something. So strategy-wise, I want you to think about training each dog individually to a fairly decent place before you try and work them together. Now, that doesn't mean they can't be around each other, but it means like when you're training and giving commands, I wouldn't be trying to do any of that stuff with 2 dogs around until they're both awesome. If you're going to do e-collar work, get both dogs individually to do sit, down, place, and recall, or at least place and recall if you're going to go like really low pro on it. Just those 2, but they have to be able to do that really rock and roll style just on their own before you incorporate the second dog. As soon as you bring the other dog in the mix, things get much harder, right? I think I said, I have notes here for your Basset, but for the Basset and the Pitty, I think I'm going to go for the same. I originally kind of had a little bit of a different thing, but I think what you need for both your dogs is the same thing, which is what I just said. So I'm not going to give you different information for the Basset like I was going to originally. But now for the pity and for the reactivity stuff, I'd love to see you do, I think it would just be easy if you just do the same training for both dogs, which is sit, down, place, recall in the house, and then e-collar heel with the prong collar as well for the walk. But especially if you don't do it with the Basset, you got to make sure you do it with your pity. So this reactivity stuff, don't focus on, because I know your question you're asking about like socialization and stuff like that. That's not your primary goal right now. Your primary goal is de-escalation, removing arousal, Junior, yo, he's trying to distract me. De-escalation, getting rid of arousal, creating impulse control, getting your dog to be really respectful and deferential around you is your primary focus. Getting him to walk in an immaculate or her to walk in an immaculate heel anywhere, regardless of dog. Like, you don't even want to deal with dogs at first. You got to get him into a great space. And for that, I recommend leash and prong and e-collar. And you can watch our video with Fusa, the German Shepherd. Just go to YouTube and type in Fusa, e-collar heel with Fusa, the German Shepherd. Mm-hmm. And that will give you some pretty awesome insights into claptrap into how to create the heel, right? So if we work on the interior work with both the dogs individually, and I know it's hard because there's only so much time in the day, and then you work on the outside work with the walks with the dogs individually. Once you've got e-collar heel going on with your pity, you'll probably see a lot of that noise and reactivity stuff just dissipated to a tremendous level, and anything that's not gone, then you can start correcting with a no, and you just have to watch more of our videos to see that, because I can't give you that info right now. But being able to have him on e-collar will relax him, and then when he sees a dog and starts to get elevated, you can just tap no and correct and cause your dog to look away from the other dog. So that's that. Junior, go! And then he tries to drive me crazy whenever we're shooting. And then as far as like anybody to help you in Oregon, we have Matt Lushinger.
Yeah, Matt Luxinger.
Is it Luxinger?
Yeah, it's on our website under tips, TGD tips. There's trainer referrals, and Matt should be on there.
Yeah, I can't remember. Is he in Bend or?
He's in Hood River, Oregon.
Hood River, okay. Yeah. And I know Oregon's big, so I don't know if that's going to work for you. I know you wanted to do socialization, and I know Matt does socialization, but he's also trained with me, so he understands how to do all this work that we just talked about. If he's close to you, it would be awesome to get his help on all this stuff. So hopefully, whatever you're going to do yourself, start the dogs individually, get them rock and roll, e-collar if possible, definitely e-collar heel for the pity. If you can get help from Matt, then go rock and roll with that, and let us know how you do. Cool?
Question number 2.
Yes.
This is from Kenna Corley. Mm-hmm. Kenna says...
Is that an Irish name?
Kenna Corley?
Kind of sounds Irish a little bit.
I have no idea. Kenna.
First of all, her life goal is to get her question answered on Q&A Saturday.
Oh my God.
So for 1, we're answering this just to grant a life goal.
For 2, you need a bigger life goal. Because we are definitely not worth you.
But how
awesome.
cool is it that this is a life goal and we can help her out with that?
I think, Kenna, you're like this beautiful young dog lover. Look at her fashion sense. Your life goals, girl.
Oh, I think she's being gracious.
Joking? Oh, okay.
I think she's being gracious. I think you're taking this a little too literally. Laura's ready to go like start an intervention and be like, you need new priorities.
We need new priorities.
I do goal coaching.
Someone is undervaluing you and making you feel this way about yourself.
You need new goals. Okay, so let's back it up a little bit.
All right.
It's cool.
It's awesome.
It's awesome that one of her life goals, bucket list, is to be on Q&A Saturday, and we can grant that.
Kenna.
How cool, right? So just let it go. Let it go.
All right.
Cool.
Hi, Sean and lovely Laura. She's awesome already. Not even an obnoxious word in the in the sentence.
She's saving that for her next question.
All right. I've been spending a lot of time on your site and YouTube page learning how to train my 7-month-old JRT mix. Awesome. I put a prong on her and almost immediately she calmed down. However, as we are working on the structured walk in the backyard, she stops, sits, lies down, and won't get back up. So I apply leash pressure and almost drag her. Of course, she whines when I put too much pressure on the collar, but I don't know how else to get her moving with me. I thought I've heard Sean say to just keep moving when they do that and work through it, right? Well, it just takes some time and consistency. You do great work. Thanks.
Aw, thank you, Kenna.
All right.
Okay, so one dream down.
2 to go.
Yeah, I'm trying to come up with a witty thing.
We
Like
need some more
maybe she can like pack walk with Laura is my second dream.
I want to hear the rest of her dreams.
Okay, so here's a couple options. So for one, you did hear me right, and there might be other trainers that are going to be like boo-hooing about like pulling a dog on a prong collar and the dog doesn't want to go and you're making it a negative experience and now he's going to hate the prong and now he's going to hate the walk. It's all monkey business. We deal, excuse me, sorry. Did I just categorize everything?
It's different strokes. Let's put it that way.
Okay, well, we have different ways of putting it. I honestly, there's so much propaganda about like all that stuff that I feel like it really is monkey business. And I can say that because I worked with a gazillion dogs and I've had plenty of dogs that have been like, oh, I don't want to walk and I don't want to go in the crate. And a couple moments of like non-negotiable stuff and the dog's like, diggy, 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 dig. So, and strangely enough, they're not terrified of the prong or the walk the next day. They don't like, the walk, right? So don't buy into that stuff. So you were right when you heard that Sean said, in the third person, that is third person, right? When Sean said to just keep moving. And, you know, that's within reason. I mean, obviously you got to make sure your dog's physically in shape and there's no like problems with his legs or anything like that, like this guy. But a couple strategies. One would be, I would take, you said you're doing it in your backyard. I'd go somewhere like on the sidewalk or pavement or parking lot because I think it's a lot more fun for a dog if they want to resist. And Jack Russells are like notorious for being like willful and strong.
Especially a 7-month-old.
Yeah, he's going to be like, by the way, let me just like issue the rules for you. Yeah, FYI, I'm going to be running the show. So, Claptrap, come here.
Put him down.
I'm trying, but he's old and senile, just like his dad. So, so let's take him somewhere where it's not so fun to sit, lie down, and resist. Let's put him on a sidewalk. Can they see this when I do this down here? It feels like there's a giant box in the way.
Just do it up here.
Up here? Okay.
Yeah, just do it right in your face.
Okay. So, so let's do it on a sidewalk. Let's do it on pavement. Let's do it on parking lot. Something like that, where it's not so much fun to resist, right? And for you, because there's social pressure around this stuff, that what I would do is I'd find a spot where there's not a lot of people around, so you don't feel self-conscious. And like if he goes, you can just be like, let's go, because obviously what's happening is your dog's making a choice, right? If the dog doesn't like the pressure so much, he's got a couple options. He can continue to keep the brakes on and create more pressure and more discomfort, or he can move and walk, and we know he knows how to walk, right? So we're seeing decisions being made, and I would say that this is bigger than a walk for me. When I start to see resistance stuff like this, it's stuff I want to go after more than just the walk. I want to go after setting a tone about relationship and attitude and how the world's going to look, and that just because you don't want to walk or you want to put the brakes on, that ain't how it's going to be. And we're not like super tough, hardcore, but we do try and strike a nice balance between like, you know, being loving and fun and goofy and having freedom, and also setting, you know, some firm rules about like, hey, we're walking and it's non-negotiable. So I would get him, don't you dare, I would get him on pavement, parking lot, somewhere where you can just kind of do your work, and I would just go. I'd say the famous words of Jeff Gellman, let's go. And you go, and what you'll find is he might drag, he might fight, he might even like bite the leash and give you a little hassle, but what's going to happen in like 2 minutes is that tantrum will be gone and you'll be walking like boom, gangbusters. Don't let the tantrum freak you out. The dog is not hurt. The dog is making choices. If the pressure is so bad, all the dog has to do to turn it off is get up and walk. So just hold on to that.
Yeah.
And I think that's it.
Yeah.
That's the totality of...
The other thing you can do is you can correct. So right now you're just applying pressure, but if I have a dog that's continuing to like sort of like put the brakes on and like can deal with the pressure, and probably when he screams or makes a noise, not screams, he's like whining, he's whining, you're probably easing up on the pressure, so he's like, oh, that works, right? So,
but that's a really important thing. So just hold that thought, because if he does make a sound and resist, and you give in at all, his little doggy brain is going, cool. Every time I make that sound, pressure goes away.
Yeah.
You have to be so cautious that you don't accidentally teach dogs that
pressure and release.
And he's teaching you pressure and release. I make this sound, I give you the pressure, you release the tension. So go ahead, finish your thing.
I was just going to say, that little conversation, anytime I get a question, we get questions like this, like I'm sure you do the same thing. I picture like, what would I do if I was holding the leash? And the first thing that came to my mind was that I'm walking, he puts the brakes down, lays down, I give him a little leash pressure, and he still is like, no. I would go pop, like knock it off, like correction, as opposed to just the pressure, correction, no, let's go. And then you keep walking and see what you get.
She's a lot more mean than I am.
No, I'm not mean.
I would just say, come on, little Gipper, let's go. And
little Gipper.
And sometimes just that little gleam in my eye will get him up and going. No, but really, like, if I can pass anything, and both of us are saying the same thing with just like some different stuff, is that make it non-negotiable.
Yeah.
The dog knows how to walk, and the dog knows how to turn the pressure off. He's making decisions. Don't let the sounds, don't let the resistance, don't let the tantrums throw you. Just go, this is one of the easiest fixes in the world.
Yeah.
And the
And
only
you'll probably
reason
move to e-collars.
and the only reason you're stuck with it is because you're just not familiar with it.
Yeah.
And you're like, God, I don't want to hurt my dog, which I totally get. But I'm telling you, you won't hurt your dog.
Won't, yeah.
And with the prong collar, the way they're designed, they tension evenly around the neck. So when you pull, that's the cool thing about it, is the pressure goes evenly, so it's not like putting pressure in just one spot or anything like that. So just go rock and roll. You should be emailing us or Facebooking us within the next few days going, I can't believe it.
She'll have a picture of her skydiving, because that's her next thing.
She's like, another dream come true. With skydiving with her dog on her back.
With her dog on her back. And then she's like on the Grand Canyon like this. And then like her next one, she's on the Great Wall of China like this.
Right.
She's like, you guys started my bucket list. It's awesome. All right.
Okay, so let's move on.
Question number 3. This is from Jennifer. Jennifer
wants to know how I got such a nice shave after having that unruly beard.
But sometimes,
it's a good question.
Isn't that... Okay, this is going to get a little personal.
Uh-oh.
Like,
I'm ready for it, though.
If say I missed a day of shaving. Let's just say once in a blue moon is like something weird. There's an emergency, and
I've seen like Belle get like Velcroed to your leg on accident. She's walked by and been like,
true. I shave twice a day. My legs. Okay.
Twice a day?
But, like I shower twice a day. Every time I'm in the shower, I can't help it. I won't even think about it. I'll just be like, shaving. Like,
wow. You got the shavenest legs in town.
Yeah, I'm smooth. All right. I also think it grows fast.
MC Smooth.
MC Smooth. All right, this is getting a little personal. But what I was going to say is that if there is a skipped day, like emergency style, I find the next day that I shave actually makes it's a lot closer shave.
Oh, yeah.
Than when you're shaving like basically almost on skin.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So,
yeah, I think that's a pretty common thing, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah.
Because why are you saying that, wow, how did I get such a clean shave after I had that long beard?
I'm just rambling on.
All right. Okay.
I just want more attention
Question
to my beard being
number
gone.
3. Jennifer. Can't believe that I went through all of that.
Well, I suckered you in.
Jennifer Norman says, what a cute avatar. I love seeing all of you guys. You're so cute. All right. My 2 female pit bulls are both throwaway mama foster failures. So, okay. They lived quite harmoniously for close to a year, then they started to fight. Little scraps at first, which I could stop with a firm command. It then quickly escalated to bad fighting. I had to physically break them up and call the vet as they both had wounds. I also have a male boxer who is the alpha that they both coexist with peacefully. I've done the crate and rotate thing with the girls since the last bad fight. My question is, how do I best go about reintegrating them? I have basket muzzles, but I'm worried they'll associate being around each other with the muzzles that neither care to wear. I'd appreciate any advice you can offer. Thank you.
Jennifer, my friend, this is a big one.
It's not Laura's secret surprise question, I'll tell you that much.
Lucky you. Okay, so first thing, female dogs fighting are pretty legendary in dog trainer circles, right? They tend to be worse than males, and they're legendary just because they tend to be like so grudge heavy and
What?
perhaps not completely unlike the human world. So I'm going to get myself in trouble. So that's one thing that we got to just we just have to acknowledge that's a heavy duty one, right? Yeah. And you've got pitties. It's just like you can't stack much more like challenge and stuff on top of that. Two, I would most likely, if you came to me and asked for help, you know, like on the phone, if we were talking or something like that, or I met you on the street, probably recommend that you find a pro to help you with. This stuff can get out of control. Like you've seen, the fights can be really dastardly and really dangerous, and you can get some pretty bad damage really quick, and you can get hurt as well. So having a pro that's comfortable and familiar working with aggression cases would be my best recommendation. Now, whether that's in your financial realm is another story. Obviously, 2 dogs and everything, you know, ups the whole kind of ante with that. But so just wanted to get those 2 points out of the way. And then if you are determined to try and do it on your own, here's a couple points for you to try and make this a more plausible and, possible thing. First, the muzzles are going to be absolutely necessary. There's no way to try and reintegrate dogs that have had some pretty serious fights without having muzzles as a backup. Now the trick is muzzles done inappropriately or incorrectly can make dogs more stressed and more apt to fight. So I'd like you to muzzle condition both dogs, which can take some time, but hey, that's all we got, right? We got lots of time. So there's a video by Josh Moran. What is it just Josh?
Muzzle conditioning, Josh Moran. I always say we're going to put it in the notes.
Yeah, we don't, but it's so easy to find.
Yeah, go to YouTube and you search Josh Moran muzzle conditioning. It's
and basically what the whole concept of the muzzle conditioning is that you slowly not accommodate, but you slowly accustom and acclimate your dog to wearing the muzzle to where it's not a negative, it's something positive, and they're comfortable with it, and then you get more natural, comfortable, non-stress reactions. So that's essential, right? So get the muzzle condition, watch that video. I would do, if you can, I would do a complete e-collar training program on both dogs. I would have them both fully off-leash trained on e-collar. If you don't, I would work all of that stuff individually until they're both rocking and rolling on it. They should have like rock solid recall, rock solid place, down, all that stuff. They should be listening to you like nobody's business. There should be zero pushback on any rules that you hand out. Without that stuff, you're probably screwed. I hate to like paint such a negative picture, but you getting dogs that have already got this fight history, if you're not going to lay down heavy duty laws, heavy duty accountability, and use the best tools for it, you're really fighting an uphill battle. So, and then lastly, if you do that work, you get a muzzle condition and you do e-collar work, or at the very least you do leash and prong, but boy, that just doesn't feel like it's going to be enough to me. I'm just, throwing possibilities out there.
Yeah, but I mean, the reality is when you've got 2 fighting pits like that, I mean, I can only imagine, Jennifer, the severity of this.
Yeah.
So it's like you dealing with prongs, you're talking about
having to muscle dogs.
Exactly, more like physical interaction. The thing with the e-collar, what we love about any situations like this is you can be so hands-off. You know that this is a tough situation. I'm sure your alternative to this is rehoming one of them, and I don't even know if one could be rehomed. So let's go, finding alternatives is good for like a dog that is jumping on counters. You can
Right,
have
right,
those
right.
both, but what you're dealing with is definitely an e-collar situation.
Yeah, if somebody came to us with that
Yeah.
for board and train
Wouldn't even be
and
a
said,
question.
I want to do leash and prong, we wouldn't give them the option. It would have to be e-collar. So Laura's right about that. But, and then what I would do is train them on e-collar like that, get a muzzle condition, and then I would start having them work around each other in very safe scenarios, which is just exist around each other on placemats across the room, back tied, both of them, so neither can get to each other, and slowly work like that, and slowly develop comfort and trust between the dogs just by existing around each other. They don't need to play. They don't need to go romp. Those are the worst things in the world. All they need to do is like be quietly in control by you, locked down, muzzle on, in place, e-collar on, and back tied. Back tied means that they're tied to something secure so they can't get at each other.
Yeah.
So, but I recommend a pro first and foremost for that if you can swing that, because this is serious business. So, so that's my answer for you. Wish you good luck with all that.
Yeah, let us know how things shake out.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Okay,
So, Tara.
question number 4. This is from Tara Isaacson. She says, "Hi guys.
Hi, Tara.
I
Sorry.
recently had a foster dog who didn't want to go in the crate. I made some progress with feeding in the crate, but ultimately had to use leash pressure and a push to get him in for the night.
The old push.
The old push. He calmed down and did great through the night. What should I do with dogs who don't want to go in the crate? Also, how should I feed the dogs when I have a new foster? Much love and thanks, Tara and Scout. P.S.
Aw.
Making good progress on the leash reactivity.
Oh,
with
good,
Scout.
good, good,
awesome.
good.
Great.
Did she ever send us videos? I don't think she ever
I
did.
don't think she did, Tara.
No, she's holding out on us. Tara, come on. I'm supposed
Looking
to be.
at everyone's pictures this time. It's so fun.
Laura's
Stalking.
peeping
Oh,
on all
Tara,
you.
Horses. It's all public info.
I know.
Okay.
It just feels like a breach.
Feels very
Feels like a
stalker.
breach, right?
Especially
Okay.
since I'm not friends with anyone.
All right, Tara. So this would definitely be a question that would be best answered by my lovely assistant. Once again, I have to write everything
that was
a good one,
that
right?
was a good one.
Right?
Yeah, I didn't even see that.
Ah, I'm
Wow.
getting clever, getting
That was
crafty,
clever.
right? I think you, because this could be like, oh, the dude dog trainer, this is what he does, blah, 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 blah. I think it would be a good answer for you.
Okay.
You've
so
seen it enough times, you know
Tara,
how it works.
Or Tara. I mean, we could be saying it wrong the whole time. Tara.
Isn't Tara from Gone with the Wind?
I don't know.
That's the name of the house.
Yeah, that's right. Tara.
Somebody's old.
We already talked about this. I told them that I watched the 2 discs.
Yeah.
And I watched the last disc first. I was like, what's wrong? Okay.
What's wrong with this movie?
Okay. Tara, you say, what should I do with dogs who don't want to go in the crate? Well, what you did is exactly what we do with dogs that don't want to go in the crate. Sometimes they just get stuck. Like, you've got dogs that are vehemently opposed to it, and you've got to really work with that. But sometimes dogs are just like, no, I just don't go in here. So
sometimes they're nervous. Sometimes they're scared.
Oh my gosh, there's a myriad of reasons.
Yeah,
right?
sometimes don't tell me what to do.
Right.
It can run the gamut.
So many things, but the reality is it doesn't matter. We've got to get you in there. We've got to get this whole thing started, right?
And usually we don't have all day.
Right. Is it?
No, I'm just adding, I'm piggyback. But it's true, right?
Yeah.
Usually we don't have 8 hours to we got to get you in the crate.
No. And
I'm backing you up.
no, I love it.
I'm your wingman here.
It's like for a nervous dog, I don't even know, this is getting off on a tangent, but for a nervous dog, coaxing them in for 8 hours with treats is going to get them unglued and feel like they're
more nervous.
They're more nervous because you can't even tell them, you can't even guide their life the way that they need it. And then for a bratty dog, if you're coaxing them in for 8 hours, they're like, okay, I see how this is. It's just how I thought. And then for a dog that's just no, don't tell me what to do, it's kind of the bratty guy. It's the same sort of thing. It's just empowering to them to see you try to cater to them. So what you did, leash pressure and a push is awesome. And then the next thing you say, he calmed down and did great throughout the night. I think you think you get it. I'll give you maybe some unorthodox methods that I've used to get dogs into crates before.
Shot them out of a cannon.
Yeah, you've got the cannon. You've got, if you're using leash pressure and they're like, you can't like fit your arm in there while they're trying to do it, you can feed the leash through one of the slats on the crate and pull the leash up.
Like a lever or pulley or something.
Yeah, like a pulley, through the top of the slats.
Put your foot on the crate and
Put your foot on the crate and push their butt in while it's going on, right?
That's fancy pants style.
We've got the knee to the butt as you're like to push them in. You've got just the little push. Let's see. Sometimes if dogs are being really bratty, I'll give them a little smack on the end, like, don't you do that again. You
can always do, like, real serious ones. You can do long line and use 2 people.
Yeah.
Right? Funnel a long line through the end of the crate and have your partner do-si-do with your partner. One's got the dog, kind of help pushing, and the other's guiding with the long line, pulling the dog in.
But for what you're probably going to deal with, probably just what you did is right on. And another big part of this, just to add to it, is that if I'm doing the thing where if I like push the dog in and I'm like, whew, stuff them in, good. I don't just leave and that's it. Bring them back out again and do it again. Bring them back out again and do it again. And you may have to give them the little push and the little smack on the butt 10 times before finally they're like, I can't do anything but just walk into this crate. Fine. So once you get that moment a couple times, then you can leave them in there. So that's a big part of it. We're not just stuffing them in there like, whew, got it done.
We got them in.
You gotta continue.
That's what Laura just said right there is so crucial, and I think it's the mistake most people make is that they struggle to get a dog in the crate, then they get him in the crate, and they're like, good, we're done. What's happened is that you've got the dog in the crate, but you haven't sorted the problem. When you go back tomorrow or later on that evening, that problem's still there. So like Laura's saying, dog goes in the crate, boom. Then you do the crate exercise, tries to come out, slam the crate door on his head or on his snout, then open it, release the dog, let's go, and then let's go, or crate. We say crate. So crate and guide the dog in. But I'm just going to piggyback off of what you said, and that's that the one note I wrote is that what can be resisted will be resisted, and we see it so much.
Dogs, it's not every dog, but like,
no. But I think it's a big thing about like if I'm uncomfortable with something, the more pushback I'm allowed, the more pushback I'm going to give. If I'm unsure about this crate, right, and I do this, and you're like, come on, let's go in the crate, and he's getting nervous about it, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to push back more because my fear is going to start to override. But if your pressure overrides the fear, and you just say like, this is going to be messy for the first couple of reps, but you're going to get your behind in there, what happens is those first couple of reps, the dog's like, no way, and then he's in there, he's like, oh, this isn't so bad. Then you let him back out, crate, bring him, no way. Oh, that's not so bad. And then after a couple of reps, he's like, none of this is bad. This is actually really easy. So, like Laura said, leash pressure, just get him in there. It doesn't need to be pretty straight away. We're not looking for like, this isn't the gold medal of like entering into a crate. This is about like getting an animal into a crate in the real world and getting it done. And oftentimes, to be perfectly frank with you, being very non-negotiable about it really sets a great tone for the dog as far as your relationship. A lot of people say, oh, you're breaking trust. A lot of trainers say, you're breaking trust, you're going to diminish the relationship. It's absolutely the opposite. That dog sees, oh, I cannot push against rules with these guys, and I get put right in the crate. I might as well give in to all the other stuff that I'm being funky and weird, and without breaking the dog's spirit, just getting him to relax and trust into our leadership that we're going to guide him, and then do rep after rep after rep until you can open the crate and the dog walks right in. And you can open it and then invite him out and then put him back in, and then you got it. So don't worry about it being ugly. Just get it done. And then I think the more you do that, the more you'll be like, oh, this is a piece of cake. And the more that I try and coax, like Laura said, the more the dog will resist. And the harder, that's the key thing here. Everybody gets caught up in this weird mental state that like if I'm doing treats and soft stuff, it's easier on the dog. BS. Getting the dog having a moment of like, you're getting in here whether you like it or not is so much easier on the dog. A moment of stress versus indecision and contemplation and resistance. that's much harder on the dog. So we give you permission to get that dog in the crate. And
the
one
crate.
day we'll tell you the story of the Iron Lady
Oh yeah.
and the crate, the great
You
crate
guys want to
expedition.
know about the Iron Lady? Hit us up.
And what it's like to actually have to really struggle to get a dog in a crate.
We've got question number 5. This is from Jasmine.
Jasmine.
Jasmine says,
Hey, Jasmine.
hold on. Jasmine says, I apologize in advance for the long essay. We adopted a Golden Retriever on Monday and quickly found out that she's very food aggressive.
Oof.
We've gone through 2 trainers who both said aggression isn't in the breed's nature and that we should just let her eat in peace. We only had the dog for a week, but I'm pretty desperate to find out how we can stop this behavior once and for all. We have 3 other dogs and have never experienced anything like this before.
Yeah.
My other question is how we can get her to slow down when eating. She literally inhales her food and is tense the whole time. We've taught her to wait for the food, but it's not helping because she's agitated.
So she's got major food stuff
She
then.
bolts with her hackles raised when she's released.
Really?
Since finding your videos, we started her on the foundation work,
That's like-
received our e-collar on Saturday. When we start addressing this issue, do you recommend we have her in the crate for safety purposes? Okay, cool.
Yeah, that's pretty heavy duty stuff.
Yeah, I'm glad you guys are getting started on.
And a lot of people think like it can't happen with Goldens or Labs, or like if anybody's seen that episode with Caesar where he gets bitten really badly, that's, if I'm not mistaken, with a yellow lab.
Yeah.
Right? It was like, yellow labs are great.
Yeah.
And that yellow lab took him to the cleaners. So,
So we're actually going to summons
uh-oh.
Mr. Jeff Gellman.
Are we doing this?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
Well,
Okay.
hold on.
Okay.
Jasmine, Jeff is going to answer your question on this.
The famous
So,
Jeff
the
Gellman,
famous Jeff
right?
Gellman,
So this isn't just
obviously.
like some Jeff Gellman guy.
We should-
is
Yeah, we should one day talk about how we found, like,
How we
how
found him?
created this bond.
how we
Jeff's like family. Jeff's
yeah.
really,
but
we're
how we
all 3 of us
lifted
are
him up
family.
to the place that he is in
How
life,
we
the
created-
station,
How we started his career.
how
for
we gave him his launch.
All right. Jasmine, get ready for Gellman.
Jeffrey Gellman is with Solid Canine Training
yeah.
in Rhode Island. He's partners with us and Train the Trainers. We're also all good friends, more like family. Only time I dislike him is when he takes me to Lust Undies. And but beyond that, he's great with dogs and does a lot of heavy aggression work and things like that. So he should be right up your alley
Yep.
to give you some good advice. Let's see what he's got for you. Ready?
Hey Jasmine, Jeff Gellman of Solid Canine Training. Laura and Sean asked me to answer your question. Something about they're trying to figure out the selfie stick, and that's taking up about 23 hours of their day. So, number 1, first of all, kudos to you for getting another dog. Kudos to you for watching Sean's videos and starting the foundation work, and then also getting your remote collar. Now, this is what we're gonna do. First of all, the rescue that told you that aggression is not inherent in that breed. Aggression's in all breeds. All breeds are potentially aggressive. All breeds can potentially bite. So let's just throw that out with the bathwater, right? Extra points if you can explain where that throw it out with the bathwater comes from. What year did it come from? What country? Who said it first? Now, slowing the dog down. Let's talk about that. There's a couple of ways. You can get a slow feeder bowl. You can do that. You can also get a bowl, put some bigger rocks in it, and then the dog has to eat around the rocks. You also can spread the food out on the ground. So the dog has to forage for the food. So you can do that on a kitchen floor, a dining room floor. If the dog's in the crate, do it on the crate, on the ground of the crate. So don't even feed the dog in the bowl. But resource guarding, I fix one way, and it takes 3 seconds. What I want you to do first is do a little bit of foundation work on your remote collar, okay? All your basics. So all the stuff you've already been doing on Sean's videos, such as most likely sit, down, place, heel, recall. I want you to keep doing that. When it comes time to resource guarding, my opinion is this. You don't do it. You're not gonna do it. You don't guard against me. So you wanna let the dog know that the guarding of food is not allowed. What do? You use the remote collar. Remember, as I'm sure you know, remote collars are used 90% of the time for awesome, proactive, positive things. But there's a few things we do it for that says, you're not doing this again. because it could be life or death of the dog. It could be injury to you or a loved one, or even like your mother-in-law who you probably don't love. So this is what we're going to do. Remote collar on the dog, leash on the dog. Food bowl. Out. I know Sean likes to use leash first. I like to go right to remote collar. So out, you can put the dog on a tie back. Tie back, so let's go backwards. Tie back station is the dog is tied to a post or a pole or a door frame or a heavy piece of furniture, so it can't lunge at you. Food bowl down. You've already got the default weight. Kudos to you. When the dog starts eating, you're going to say out, remote. What level? I don't know. 10, 20, 30. Enough for the dog to go, oh, what was that? Now, I don't want the dog going like this. That's not an out. What I want the dog to do is be disengaged, like, whatever, I don't even like cheeseburgers anymore. And then you'll ask the dog to eat it, and then you'll say out, give the dog a split second. If they don't out, pop the button. Remember, you're not upset, you're not mad, you're not angry. It's just a matter of fact. Pop, can't have your garden food. Sorry, you're gonna injure somebody. I might have to put you down if you bite somebody. 86,400 seconds in a day. 3 of those seconds, I gotta let you know, don't do that with the food bowl. So, out has value. Now, out, dog moves away. After you do this, number one, multifaceted. Your dog's gonna go, wow, you've got some power. You're really kind to me, you're really fair to me, you do all this awesome stuff with me, but when you say no, or out, or knock it off, or quiet, you really mean it, but you're not mad. That's pretty powerful stuff. Damn, I respect you for that. That's what I want you to do. Again, kudos to you. Sorry about Sean. Hopefully by next week he'll have this selfie stick thing figured out. You know, let's not tell him it doesn't take batteries, right? He's like fumbling, like plus, minus, does it go this way, does it go that way? How do you put the cover on? He'll figure it out on his own. Madly in love with you. I'll talk to you later.
Okay, question number, let's see, I'm all mixed up. We're on question number 6.
Yeah.
This is from Oleg. All right, not sure if I'm too late, but I'll give it a shot.
Never too late, Oleg.
Never too
Always
late for
save
Oleg.
time for you, buddy.
What is the right thing to do if your dog blows you off when you recall her using the e-collar? My dog is fully off-leash trained, thanks to you and Laura. Yay!
Wow, how cool.
But every once in a while, if I recall her, she'll turn around to face me, but then go and do her own thing. Does that call for a no and a higher correction? She absolutely knows the command. We've been working recall for 6 months. Thanks.
Uh-oh.
Give me this question. Come on. Give it.
You want to take it? Take it. Go run with that.
No.
Go run with it.
No. Oleg's asking.
You want? We can piggyback.
We always do.
Well, I mean, we can like really piggyback
Yeah.
if you want. Okay.
Hit it.
So, Oleg, what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to put a 50-foot long line on this dog, right? So that way your dog can forge out, do its thing. 2 reasons. 1, safety, because we're having some blowing off the command. And 2, so you always win. So doggy doesn't get to blow through e-collar stem. So if your dog does try and blow you off and blow through e-collar stem, we're going to teach you how to make sure, 1, the dog doesn't get away, and 2, it becomes very uncomfortable to blow that off, right? So I would let the dog forge out. And honestly, I'd start I don't know what your dog's like, so, you know, we're always kind of like making guesstimates on this, but I let your dog get out like 15, 20 feet. Don't go 50 feet straight away. 15, 20 feet, let him get a little distracted, recall him back, right? If that's a piece of cake, awesome. If that's not a piece of cake, if it already starts right there that he's giving you a hard time, that you call him and like, what's a good Russian name for a dog?
Risky.
Laika?
Laika. Oh, that's cool.
Laika, Hirsky.
Hirsky. Well, I just add ski to everything. Is that just wrong?
I think that's Polish.
That's a hatski.
I think that's Polish. Anyways, sorry, Oleg, you got to bear with us. We give good information, but it's a pain in the ass to get to, isn't it?
I'm sure he's like, I know. Yeah.
He's like, oh, here we go again.
The quick answer, though.
The piggyback is looking more
I'm
like
sorry,
taking over back.
I'm like, Of course, put the long line on the dog just in case something happens where the dog runs away or something. All that good, nice, safe stuff.
Well, I mean, but I also don't want the dog getting away.
I totally agree. I'm not saying you definitely put that long line on with a carabiner on the end. Make sure it's on there just because you guys are having to like really kind of proof this relationship. But the reality is you answered your own question. You said, does this call for a no and a higher correction? I mean, that's not even a no for me. That's a higher correction. That's a double from where you are. If you call your dog, that could be the difference between life and death, So if you call your dog and your dog doesn't come and you've been practicing for 6 months and you're sure that she knows, that's like
those are decisions.
Right. And she's gotten away with it enough where she's like, I'm good, right? I'm okay.
Especially if the consequence is only like, right?
Yep.
So you've got competing interests, right? Your dog's out smelling around and being a dog, doing its thing. You say, I need you back here. Your dog's saying, that's great, but man, I got all this great stuff going on. And you then say, well, here's a consequence for that, but your consequence is down here and your dog's fascination level's up here, and that's where you're getting in trouble. Laura's saying that your dog's here, your correction's here, and get your dog's attention, have your dog come back.
Yeah.
So even though she would just say, like, let your dog run out to 50 foot and then turn it all the way up and then, like, goose him.
I would never say that.
I know she wouldn't. But what I would say is, like, start short and see what you get.
Yeah.
And then if you call your dog, so for us, you can say no if you want, but for us, what we do is we just repeat the command with a higher level stem. So say I'm on a dog tra, say I correct, say 40 is our correction level out in like the kind of wild, exciting, world, right? Mm-hmm. And I say, Leica, here ski. And Leica's like, looks at me and keeps moving. Then it's here, and now I'm from 40, did I say 40? Yeah. From 40, I'm probably at 50 or 60 right now. Mm-hmm. And I repeat the command with a tap. I'm not pressing and holding, so that could be something also that maybe you're doing is like pressing and holding and dialing up, which is pressure like this that slowly increases, can be easy for dogs to blow off. So you really want this to be a startling, quick impact correction, right? Yeah. So dog gets out, give the command, dog blows off the command, repeat the command with a higher level pop, and don't dilly-dally. Don't like 40, okay, let's go to 45. I don't want to hurt Leica's feelings. Mm-hmm. This is serious stuff, like Laura said. You do a few corrections at high enough levels that matter and have some real value for the dog, and what you'll find is that dog will turn every time you call them on a dime. So your job isn't to like, how soft can I be with Leica? Yeah. How easy can I be? How comfortable can I keep her? What your goal is to get that dog to turn when you call her every single time, no matter what's in front of her. And your real job is to find the level on that e-collar once you've fairly trained that dog that makes that dog turn its butt around and get right back to you. So don't look at the numbers, just look at your dog, right? And within reason, right? You don't go from 40 to 100. But what I don't like is when people are like, they're 40, 42, 43, your dog's already getting amped up and farther away from you, you're toast, right? So get to the number quickly and get there high and get there quick when you're dealing with this recall stuff. Start short distances, get it back, then get her out farther and make sure she's coming every time, and use a high enough level that your dog cares and not is inspired by it, but prioritizes it. Yeah, this is an easy fix.
Yeah,
easy fix.
Let us know.
Nice work.
Thanks. Question number 7. Question number 7 is from Armando Morales. Armando says, hey, Sean and Laura, thank you so much for answering my questions in the past. You're a fantastic resource, and I just want you both to know how much I appreciate it.
Oh, that's nice.
Anyway, I'm curious to know what your exact protocol is when doing in-home private sessions. In other words, do you begin with teaching place and then the following week on thresholds and so on? I'm certain this all varies depending on the dog and the severity of the problem, but what are your general guidelines for in-home training? Whew.
Well,
Armando.
In another fit of laziness, we're going to pass this question off to
Armando, this is going to the Good Dog's very own specialist who does all our one-on-ones. Yeah, Miss Brittany. She is the queen of structuring all this stuff, and all she does is send home dogs that are like, the owners are just gushing over all the work they got done. And so we're going to have her answer this one for you. Because
I typically don't do one-on-ones anymore unless I'm in New Orleans. So she's the one-on-one queen.
Yeah.
So should we send it to Brittany? Ready?
Brittany, come in. Brittany, come in. Come in.
Brittany?
Brittany? Are you there? Oh, she needs the... No wonder they call me obnoxious.
Hey guys, Brittany here on Q&A Saturday. I just want to answer this question from Armando. Thanks so much for sending it in. You're definitely right. Our in-home sessions are dictated by the specific dog and their issues, as well as kind of, you know, that specific dog's learning arc and how much good homework owners are doing in between sessions. But all that considered, we definitely have kind of an overall structure to it. So in session 1, I really look at, you know, what are the owner's like biggest pain points. So we usually start with either recall or heel command. So if the owner tells me, you know, I live in a condo and every day I'm going out and my dog's going crazy down the hallway and we see, you know, lots of other dogs, then I'm clearly going to start with the walk. If they tell me, you know, every time, you know, we open the front door, the dog's running out and she's not coming back, then I'll start with recall. So it really just depends kind of on the owner's specific higher pain point and what they're struggling with. So that won't usually take the whole session. So we'll start with heel or recall. And then if we have any leftover time, we'll start the beginnings of place command. And then on second session, we'll do a little brush up on whichever we started with, heel or recall. Then we'll get place command like fully rockin'. We'll get them all good with place command. And then we'll also start the other of heel or recall, whichever we didn't do already. So by the end of session 2, we've got typically, you know, heel, recall, and place going, all kind of, you know, various stages. And then third session, we'll do a brush up on all of the things that we've already covered. And then we'll typically start adding in different things like sit and down, and then adding a little bit more distraction, things like that. And then for our final session, all of that stuff should be rockin'. We want typically most things to all be in the correction phase. And then we're just going to be, you know, tweaking anything that we see, adding a ton of distraction work, and really kind of proofing the dog, as well as setting the owner up to kind of continue the work and, you know, see exactly what their lifestyle will look like with the training involved. So that's usually kind of the structure of the whole program. Again, you know, as you guessed, it definitely depends on the specifics, but usually we want to cover at least the biggest ones. Recall, heel, and place tend to be the biggest. So hope that helps. Take care.
Okay, guys, question number 8. This is from Kelly. Kelly says, I have a male pit boxer who recently attended a 2-week board and train and a female pit who had private lessons. I've been working with them for about a week now, taking them for off-leash walks and structured walks. During our structured walks with both dogs, my male sometimes pushes against my leg while we walk. How can I get him to quit?
Okay, Kelly, so you're familiar with that.
Yes.
The old polar bear was the king of that.
Yep.
Okay, so sometimes this is a byproduct of like dogs when they're stressed. Sometimes they'll push into the leg. I don't know if the dog's on e-collar or on prong. The dog might have been getting heavy corrections for reactivity, something like that. Hard to say. But oftentimes what happens with, especially with e-collar stuff, is that an unintentional superstition occurs that your dog looks at another dog, excuse me, the dog gets corrected, and when the dog gets corrected, he slows down, and a lot of times he'll move in towards the leg, and then he'll start to think, oh, the moving in towards the leg. What are you trying to scan down on? I'd like this to be a little bit of a surprise for you. And And then, so then the dog starts to think, oh, moving into the leg is part of how I turn, not just not looking at dogs, but moving in is part of how I turn off pressure for the dog or for the e-collar. So that's part of why, or that could be why that's going on. So a couple things. What we'll do is like, here in LA, we don't have like access to like big open like training areas and things like that. Yeah. So typically what we'll do is like, if we're on leash and prong, we'll like kind of pop away from the leg, just give the dog pressure, like, hey, give me some space. You can also use your leg as you're walking, and then I'll just take my leg and I'll just kind of move it into the dog's space and make it uncomfortable for the dog to crowd, right? I end up looking like some kind of like one of those, is it a beef eater? No, or is it a Russian like... Oh. Like maybe it's like one of the Russian military, something like that. Because I'm like doing like kind of high knee things. Because basically the dog's coming in and my knee's bouncing off the dog's head, and I'm saying, hey, give me some space with that, right? So that's like if you're on sidewalks, that can be something that's helpful. And then I know one of the tips from Gellman when we were at his Castle Gellman in Rhode Island, he was talking about when you're out with a dog that's crowding you, doing quick turns into the dog, right? So anytime he starts to crowd, you boom, you move, you do a quick turn into the dog, and then you keep doing those turns, boom. Now I know you got 2 dogs, so I'm not so sure how that would look for you if you've got a dog on each side, and if you can get the other dog to go, but you may need to take your one dog out on its own until you get it really solid. And just work on this, like dog crowds, boom, you turn into him and like make a full U-turn or hard left, and your dog's like, ooh, every time I crowd, this is getting uncomfortable. Yeah. Basically, it's the same thing. We're trying to find a way to make it somewhat uncomfortable for your dog to crowd, so he starts to make a better choice that's more comfortable, which is giving you more space. Another way, just one extra little tidbit you can do if you are on e-collar, instead of using like high corrections, you can use lower pressure, and you can say heel, press the button at a level that your dog cares about, like his working level that he cares about, but isn't a high corrective level, and then guide with the leash away from you. Heel, just like that, just like we can say heel backwards or heel, forwards, we can also say heel out like that, and then press, hold, heel, guide, and then off the button, and your dog learns, oh, I turn off the pressure when I come back out here. So there's a bunch of different ways to do it. I would mess around, see which ones sound like they make the most sense for you, and hopefully I explained also why you might be having that stuff, and then you just got to kind of try and apply these and see which ones work for you. Cool?
Okay. I wonder if Angela's going to be like Jeff.
Baby Angela?
Yeah.
What do you mean, like?
Like, we're like, another Gellman.
I think Angela's going to be one charming little sucker.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's already one charming little sucker.
Yeah.
By the way, I wanted to clarify something. I said that I shower twice. And I know there's a drought going on in California, so I need to clarify that my showers aren't like normal people's showers. I like do Scandinavian showers. No, they're like literally 30 seconds. Well, 30 seconds is a stretch. Maybe 90 to 120 seconds. But I'm so quick in the shower, unless I'm washing my hair, which is like every other day. But showers for me are like, I'm working out, just shower off.
A little guilt.
It's not like
guilt here.
5 to 10 minute showers. Okay.
Yeah.
Question number 9.
So where should we send correspondence if there's anyone that's angry about your water usage?
What? Send correspondence?
Yeah.
Don't send it because I just explained.
Oh, ooh.
Ooh.
Spicy.
Shauna says, hi, Sean. Shauna said hi to a different Sean. Probably meant to say hi, Sean O'Shea.
Probably, and she got somebody else.
Shauna, I love that you tagged this guy. He's probably like, why am I here?
He's like, man, I got to answer a question. This is tough.
All right, this is question number 9. This is from the lovely Shauna Spellman. She says, hi, Sean. I have a rescue foster dog, a chihuahua, who's blind. He's been with me for about 3 months. He's very reactive to my cats, other dogs, and people when we're in public. He growls, barks, snaps, and becomes aggressive with all the above. I think he's anxious and frightened because he's blind. He's a young dog, about 2, and was not always blind. He was surrendered to the shelter with a very bad eye infections that were untreated. He has 2 fake eyes but can't see anything.
Wow,
I would like
cool.
to keep working with him, keeping him in my home, but I need help with his aggressive behavior. He's very sweet.
He's very sweet?
Yeah. except for all the...
It sounds like he's trying to kill everything in his world. I'm sorry.
I have no idea what to do to help him with his anxiety to adjust to being blind. Do you have... Yeah. I'm sure he's sweet in her presence, like. Yeah, but Shauna, your dog is being not sweet in moments too. So.
A lot of moments.
Yeah. So we have someone on the case.
Who do we have on the case?
Mr. Jeff Gellman again. This doesn't mean we're lazy. We just really thought that he'd be good for this question.
Yeah, it's a little spice to stuff.
Yeah.
And he's gone through life with blinders on, so I think he's perfectly suited for this question.
He's perfect for this question.
Right.
All right.
And he's been known to be aggressive. So I think I think he might be well suited to solve this problem.
I so get this.
Right?
Yeah.
So Jeffrey, baby, it's all you.
Hey Shauna, Jeff Gellman of Solid Canine Training, and I am so honored to be able to answer your question. So, you've got a blind Chihuahua, but let me go a little bit hardcore on you first. I thought about maybe going soft and then easing into it and going hard. I'm going to go hard on you first, because then you got to stick around for the answer, right? Your dog, first of all, kudos to you for rescuing a dog, let alone a blind dog. Kudos to you. You're an awesome person. Your dog is going after cats, humans, and dogs, causing you mental grief, strife, and wearing your fingers out on the keyboards, asking dog trainers around the country with questions. But, on the other hand, and I quote, he's a very sweet dog. His name is Dylan. I'm not sure about that. I don't think we can put him in the sweet category yet. This is the issue. First of all, don't train him and don't give him a free pass for being blind. And don't consider him sweet yet. The goal is sweet. Keep calling him Dylan, that's his name. The goal is sweet. The dog you want is sweet. But if a friend of yours described the behavior that this dog was doing, and I quote, he's very reactive to my cats, other dogs, and people when we're in public. He growls, barks, snaps, and becomes very aggressive with all of the above. If your friend said that to you, would your friend say, God, he sounds like a sweet dog? No. Now, he's not a bad dog, but he absolutely is badly behaved. So, let's work on that. Number one, foundation stuff. Let's start with the foundation stuff. He's nervous and anxious as well. So what we need to do is put massive structure into his life. He needs your guidance. He needs your help. Because on his own, look what we got, right? That's not who we want, right? We do want sweet Dylan. I want Dylan to be crated at night, and I want Dylan to be crated during the day when you're not home. I want Dylan to learn to go in the crate and be quiet in the crate. Now, it's got nothing to do with housebreaking or destruction. It's a leadership skill. How big of a crate? I own 2 Chihuahuas as well. They don't need a big crate. They need a crate like twice the size of a shoebox. It's not a playpen. He goes in the crate, he lies down. Structure. Structured walks. Proper walk. Sit down in place. Waiting at thresholds. Open up the crate door, can't come running out. Time to go in the crate, can't go running in. This is all leadership stuff. It's all going to lead you to the sweet dog that you're looking for. Duration. There's the magic. Anxiety, duration. Okay? If you want to read CBT for Dummies, that's my level of book, right? Cognitive Behavioral Therapy for Dummies, you'll find out that taking the dog and putting the dog into a duration place command, which means long periods of time in place or down, almost like forced meditation, which almost is like CBT, Cognitive Behavioral Therapy, will change the state of mind of the dog, the fundamental state of mind. Where the dog wanted to react, the dog now doesn't actually want to react. Right now, you got to tell the dog, don't react, don't growl. But pretty soon the dog's going to go, Growl? No. Who growls? I don't growl. You growl? We don't growl. That's what I want you to do. Now, you're going to have to correct the dog. Ooh, correcting the blind dog from the rescue. That's a little bit tough, especially Sweet Dylan. What's a correction look like? I've said it before, I'll say it again, 86,400 seconds in a day. 3 of those seconds, you're going to have to say, Dylan, I don't agree with that behavior. Remember, correcting the behavior, not correcting the dog. You're not being mean to the dog. The dog is actually being really mean to you. The dog's being mean to himself. Could you imagine what's going on in his head? He's blind and angry. Who wants to hang out with the worse than that? He could be drinking, right? Blind, angry, drunk. That's all we need. So you got 2 out of 3. You're not looking so bad. So we work on those things. Correction. It should be neutral, not mad, but calm. What could that be like? Pet convincer, little prong collar, pop with no. Pet convincer, shh, no. You have to either interrupt and or correct the cycle. He's in a cycle. He's in a cycle. So I want you to work on foundation work. I want you to come up with a correction and feel comfortable with that calm correction. It's neutral. You're not mad. If you want to call it a punisher, aversive, doesn't make a difference. Okay, some of the literature out there says, don't do that. The literature that I read says, don't have a biting, out-of-control chihuahua. That's my literature. So, the good thing about this is you are not alone. I see dogs like this all the time. Sean sees dogs like this all the time. And we know that we can help them and it will not take forever. The good thing is, if you go hardcore on this dog for 30 days, meaning hardcore, meaning lots of structure, take out the heart, just use the head, you're going to see dramatic results. Dramatic results. Let's say 3% a day change. Just 3%. Does 3% sound like a lot? No. 30 days though? 3%? That's 90% better. Think about that. That's what I want you to do. Okay? Thank you so much. Thank you, Sean and Laura, for helping me out. Hopefully you'll figure out the selfie stick soon because this is fun. I enjoy it. But, you know, I got a lot of questions to answer myself. All right? Talk to you soon.
Shauna, we hope that helps.
Yeah.
Jeff, thanks for weighing in again.
There's a part of me, it's really inappropriate, but I would, if it was my cat, my dog. So what show are we on here? Animal Planet? Cats from hell. I would go for the Marty Feldman eyes.
The what?
Marty Feldman eyes.
Okay.
I'm just saying,
Shauna,
like,
I have to weigh in on this because I'm not sure what Gellman said, to be perfectly honest.
We haven't viewed his answer yet.
But what I do want to weigh in on.
Please be respectful.
What I do want to say, Shauna, is that this dog is not the dog to be. It's hard when they have a physical ailment that makes them seem like helpless or poor, all this. So what we want to do is just coddle them and give them all the good stuff. But a dog like this, more than anything right now, needs your direction. And I really, really hope that you hear that you giving this dog more structure and more rules is going to be the way that it feels more safe in its world rather than pets and love and treats and all that stuff.
Yep.
And you probably understand that already because you might be a fan of ours already, that comfort for dogs comes.
I think she's a fan of the other Sean.
Oh yeah, but really, truly, so just keep that in mind. I'm sure Gellman didn't come with that sort of like softer side of things, but definitely this is a dog that will do a lot better and be much, much happier if you're stricter with some good rules. Not like hard, but just like a good set of rules and good structure for this dog is going to make them so much happier. The worse the dog, the more issues, the more nervous, the more all that stuff, the more you tell him what to do.
And that goes just straight back to like, troubled students,
Yeah,
troubled kids,
troubled
anything like
yeah.
that. The more structure, the more organization, the more rules, the more accountability, the more they excel, the more they succeed, the more comfort they feel.
Yeah.
And the tendency, like Laura, you really hit it on the head, is when you see a dog like physical injury and all this, like he always had a bad deal, is to baby them, and it's the worst thing. That human nurturing thing is just the perfect golden ticket for messing dogs up. So take this lady's smart advice and direction, direction, direction over affection to get this dog into a better space. And then hopefully Jeff Gellman said something good. Fingers crossed. It'll be like this.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Okay, question number 10. This is from Richard Chan. It's
Hey,
a
Richard.
long one. Let's see. Richard says, I'm going to break this down a little bit. My bull mastiff was a great puller and very reactive to human and dogs when I got her at 2 years old last year. She thought everyone was her best friend.
That's a good reactive.
Yeah, good reactive. She was allowed to play every day at the dog park with all sorts of different dogs by her other owner, her previous owner, so she was hyper whenever she saw another dog on the walk. I've been using prong collar with very good results. I watched your videos and also Jeff's. Thanks, by the way.
Liked ours better.
I have 2 questions. Should I not take my dog to the dog park and not let her play with other dogs at all? Can I just spend time with her training and exercising so she can spend most of her time with her pack rather than strange dogs, etc.? So that's the sort of thing. Like she can walk on a prong and not react to other dogs. She stays calm, but he's just wondering if he can just be in-house with her.
Right,
Second
like
question,
more like having more like an insulated pack rather than going to the dog park.
Right. Second question is, I'm doing some e-collar work because I'm hoping to get her to eventually walk on a flat collar. I noticed in your video when you're using a prong with e-collar. So that's basically.
And just to finish, finish that up, which kind of is important at the end, is that he's looking to try and get off the prong.
Yeah.
And just be on a flat collar.
Right.
And because he's saying like his dog's walking really nice on a flat collar, and can I fade the prong collar? But what he also says at the very end, which you probably didn't get to,
just collar-wise.
No, is that when squirrels run by, then he loses control of his dog because he doesn't have a prong collar on. He's got a flat buckle collar.
Right.
Hence.
So,
and
real quick though, he says, I follow your videos on YouTube and also Victoria's.
Victoria, not Stillwell's.
Tori Smith.
Yeah. First time I read that, I was like,
yep.
And Victoria Stillwell. Wow, you like some contrast. And then I realized, oh, it's Tori.
Yeah, it's Tori Smith.
That's awesome. Tori Smith, go. All
right, go.
Okay, so it says, we don't recommend answering this question because it's better answered by the lovely Laura Morgan. No. 2 in 1 episode? Like it's unheard of. It's unheard of. There's a reason, just so everybody knows, whenever I pick questions for the lovely Laura Morgan, it's because they're in her wheelhouse.
They're in my wheelhouse.
They're in her wheelhouse.
Okay.
So and that's why I kind of broke down the question for you a little bit more, right? So we've got, do I need to go to the dog park for one? Yeah. Can I have my dog just kind of be with me in our own world? And is that enough fulfillment for my dog?
I got it from here. Okay.
Wow.
Richard, the first part, yes, and we would prefer that you do that. Have the dog at home, do structure and fun and walks and play and all that stuff. Do that at your house. Unless you have a little park where you've got some close friends with dogs that are super respectful, that get along with your dog, and you know it's only going to be you guys there. You know, we have some people here, some clients here that have that kind of dog park situation. It's not a real dog park, but it's like an open field. Yeah. That's great, you know, but a place where the bunch of dogs with owners on their cell phones, with people who don't know about dog behavior, we just don't recommend it. It's just too much. We see too many clients
dog fights,
come in,
dog aggression
dog
issues,
fights and stuff after that.
Dogs even being killed.
Yep. So you're having good luck with your dog right now, using the prong and reactivity wise. So we might as well just keep that. So keep it in house. Keep your little your pack. Have some special dog friends. Fetch. Fun stuff inside, fun stuff outside, rules and and work inside, and that's awesome. That's
And
like,
also, and just to add on to that, also because one of his goals is to like kind of get that distinction of like crazy
Yeah.
behavior at the dog park gone and get the dog more calm
more
and
chill,
respectful.
yeah.
And so I think the dog park has probably become like,
Yeah.
just Disneyland. So
Yep.
yeah, so good
Yeah.
advice.
So good.
So no dog park,
that.
you be your dog's universe, right?
Yep, totally. Second question, the reason why we recommend the prong is because of that exact thing that you mentioned with the squirrel, just like Sean alluded to. So you've got better control, like physical control. Obviously the e-collar is great for most everything on the walk, but the prong has directional control. So you've got, if a dog's pulling, on a flat buckle collar or on a slip lead or on a choke chain, you're just getting, it's hard for you, it's going to pull your arm out.
You also have leverage too.
Yeah, having that prong there is just a backup just for those types of situations. Exactly. Like, I always think about the thing, if I've got my dog on a flat buckle collar and say a car was to backfire, we've all heard that sound, and my dog was to leap in the air and be out in the street, most likely if he's on a flat, he's going to take me with him. But if he's on a prong, I'm going to be able to get him right back, pretty quick with that pressure. So we just love it as a backup. We just think it's great. And it really, I find the only time that people really want to move away from the prong is just because of the way it looks.
Social pressure.
And social pressure. And yeah, they just want so to me, I just don't care about that, or I used to care big time, so I understand it, but I do think just do what's best for your dog, and if your dog is doing that squirrel stuff, just keep her on the prong as a backup. You don't even have to use it. I don't even use it on dogs, and we don't even use it on dogs that are already,
It's just there for a safety belt, emergency belt.
Yep.
Yeah. So all our clients go home on leash, prong, and e-collar. And the reason is for exactly what you just said.
Yeah.
I mean, when I was reading your question, I was like, you just answered exactly why we recommend, because yes, you can get your dog to walk really nicely on an e-collar, and it's going to look fantastic until the world throws you a curveball and all of a sudden you're at a disadvantage, and that is not where you want to be with your dog. I know it's not where I want to be with mine, so my dogs are always on prongs. A dog comes running up to us, one hand, 3 dogs. I move them back. I take care of it. Squirrel goes by, one hand, 3 dogs. Like I used to walk big packs of dogs up in the hills in Beverly Hills, and which people don't think have deer, but this part of Beverly Hills did. And I would have 9, 10, 12 dogs, one hand with all those dogs, and we'd have a deer go by. Right? And with the prongs and relationship and all that stuff, I can only imagine on a flat buckle, I'd probably still not be able to speak today because I would be like just pavement faced. I'd be like drug like this. So don't resist the prong. One last thing I'd add to that is that you can get some cool prongs these days. Like if you go to hermspringer.com, they have some pretty cool different prongs where they're actually like, Laura would just tell you not to give a crap, and I would back no, but I'd back you up as well, because like I don't give a crap. These are the tools I like for my dog. Tough if you don't dig it. But if you want to be a little more low pro, under the radar, they've got these cool where they look flat on the outside. They're a little more expensive, but they're actually prongs on the inside. It looks like jewelry almost. So I don't know what the pricing is, but hermspringer.com should have some options for you if you want to do something like that, and if you want to fly under the radar.
Cool.
Cool.
All right.
Nice work, man.
Richard.
2 in a row. You did good. You did good.
All right.
Okay, so real quick, we're just gonna add this one in for Stacy. This is question number mystery, and because we're running short on time. Stacy, you had like a positive only trainer tell you that not to use tools, not to use a bark collar, any of that stuff, and that he was going to train your dog to bark on command, and that would be okay to get your dog to not bark in your absence. This is a super brief question, super brief answer. Don't listen to that. The dog will, I would bet you any amount of money that the dog is going to still bark in your absence when stimuli arises or boredom arises. Get yourself a no bark collar, and you're getting threats to have to move out of your place. And this is serious business. Get a no bark collar and get it done with. Order a sport dog or a Dogtra. We've had some pretty good luck with the sport dog ones. Order a sport dog off of Amazon.com and get your dog fitted out. Start at a low level, get your dog acclimated to it, and that should take care of any of the barking problems, and you should be able to get to stay in your apartment. That's BS. I'm sorry, you can bleep that out if you don't like it. This question kind of pissed me off, hearing like positive only trainers like, I'll teach your dog to bark on command, which means he won't bark any other time.
Right.
Monkey business.
That's the silliest thing I've
So
ever heard.
no bark collars have kept so many dogs in homes.
Yeah.
That's what I recommend.
And most likely the bark collar, you know, once they have a couple times with it where they're like, oh, I don't like that, they're not gonna, it's not even gonna.
It'll be done.
Yeah.
Cool.
Cool. Okay, guys. So we've got a question here, our final bonus question.
Yes.
This is from the famous,
Tim?
the wonderful Tim Ferris. You guys may know him from 4 Hour Work Week, 4 Hour Body, 4 Hour Chef.
It's like 4 New York best-selling,
Yeah.
author.
He's
Like, it's
the
pretty
bomb.
amazing. Yeah.
If you go to his, he has an awesome blog. He has an awesome podcast. He's just one of those guys that like you wish you could have dinner with like every week, just to like be like, so
Pick his
what
brain.
did you do?
What did you read this week?
Yeah.
What did you learn
What did you
this?
find out?
Yeah, what did you learn?
Yeah. So he's been a big influence on us for a lot of things, and we really like him. But he asked a question on his Facebook page, and we thought it was a good question for
I thought he
all of
mentioned
you
my
guys.
name, but he didn't.
No,
he didn't. So.
We thought it would be a good question for all of you guys to hear the answer to as well.
So Tim just got a new dog.
Yes.
And so like his Facebook page is like covered in like dog questions
Yeah.
and like summoning answers
Yeah.
from trainers and stuff like that.
Most likely he's not going to watch it, so we're going to answer it for you guys.
Hey, one of you guys know Tim? Send
Hey,
it on to him.
Send it over. So Tim asks, wouldn't it be cool if we had them answer this question?
Who? All of our fans?
Our fans, yeah.
Yeah.
So he says, any dog trainers out there? I'm all for positive reinforcement dog training, but most experts seem to dodge a major question. What can you do when pups do something bad, like chewing furniture, jumping up on chairs, etc., besides ignoring it? Redirecting is one way to get them to temporarily stop, but it won't seem to teach them that something isn't allowed. Anyone with experience out there? Thanks.
Well, I just happen to have experience with this.
Experience away.
So I'm not a big fan of redirecting. Puppies
Or
only.
ignoring.
Or ignoring, yeah. So puppies maybe, and I know his dog's young, but his dog doesn't look like a puppy. So I think he's like an adolescent, something like that. And I think it's hard timing, give me a little trouble and stuff like that. So I wrote a quick little just note here, and I'm going to actually read it because it specifically says exactly what I want to say. So Tim, I hope you're listening, buddy. It's consequences for choices and actions that change behavior. Redirecting does not create an inhibition for future choices. It attempts to create a new pattern, but if desire overrides the pattern, you're toast. And so is your dog. Ooh. So that's
Very
a quick
fancy.
little just summary of how I feel about it. We're very big on consequences, fairly trained, right? Like, so the dog understands and do everything in a fair and humane fashion.
Yeah.
But like when it comes to like chewing furniture and counter serving, all those things are not only a pain in the ass, but they're really dangerous for the dog. Plenty of dogs die from getting into stuff, swallowing like materials from couches, or need expensive surgeries to open the belly up, things like that. We don't have problems like that because we set consequences up that are valuable for the dog, that create future inhibitions for those choices. So you see, I'm all revved up.
You are
So those dogs go, oh, that thing on the table, I'm going to leave it alone.
Yeah.
Rather than, I've been redirected to a Kong for 100 times, right? And the dog's like, that's great, except that thing on the counter, man, I've been with that Kong for 100 times. That Kong's like old news. That thing, new news, and I want to go get it.
Yeah.
So I'm really not a fan of the redirecting. It's all about propaganda, and it's all about like, how can we be kinder and gentler, typically at the expense of the dog and the owner. So do I have a strong opinion? Yes, I do. And I hope you find this answer to this question, and I hope it steers you in a direction that can help you and your dog get where you want to
My
get.
guess is Tim's a really smart guy, so even if he doesn't see this, he's going to try ignoring his dog for a long time
He'll
doing
figure
that.
it out, because Tim like does experiment. He experiments everything and
That's
like
the thing.
tests everything.
Yeah.
He's
And-
going to be like positive only. Okay, I'm down 3 couches.
Let's try
All right, now I'm going to try consequences. Sean O'Shea mentioned. Oh, my dog listens.
Right.
Cool. Everything's good.
It's just like anything, ignoring something. It can work for a little while. If someone's pestering you and pestering you and pestering you, you can ignore them and it might work. But finally, if you tell them to knock it off, they're going to be like, oh, okay, cool. I got this.
Especially when you're dealing with consequences of varying degrees of intensity and attraction, right? Desire, desire mutates and varies, and so like your dog's home bored, you've redirected him 100 times, but he's like, I'm so bored right now because Tim's not crating me like he should be, and so I'm gonna go chew on the couch because I need something to do, even though I've been like redirected 100 times.
Yeah.
So,
and Tim, you want a better relationship with your dog? Definitely a consequence for actions that the dog may know is not cool is the way to do it. So
and as somebody real quick that I know we know of has dedicated his life to like high discipline. I know I think
meditation,
done meditation, judo, all sorts of different things that you've really dedicated yourself with dedication. Dedicated yourself with dedication. What's the word I'm looking for?
Discipline. Yeah.
The discipline part of it is really what I wanted to hit on, and I think if you just kind of analyze, I think it'll all make pretty simple sense to you about consequences or what change behavior.
Yep.
So
Yep.
that's it. I think that was nice.
That was really nice.
Right?
Look at
Can
you.
I get one of these? Nice.
All right, guys, we're out of here. We love you so much.
We do love you.
And we will see you next week for episode 44.
We're creeping up, guys. Creeping up on the 1 year. What are we going to do for this 1 year anniversary?
I don't know.
Love you. Going to be good. See you guys. Take care.
Bye.
Thank you.